afternoon, friends. I am in the studio again with my good friend, Kimberly Cross, and she's the executive director of the Pregnancy Family Resource Center. It is another great mission that goes on in Butler County, Augusta, and El Dorado, and offers a lot of services to young families that I wanted to talk to them about. Especially, we have a fundraising banquet coming up, and that's part of this video, is to be sure and let you know when it is. It's going to be amazing because the keynote speaker is Ben Carson, the one and only Ben Carson, and I don't know how you got such a great speaker. Anyway, how do you like the studio, Kim?
I think this is probably the most professional studio I've been in. So I'm very privileged. I feel like special.
Oh, well, you are special.
I may break out in a song or something and sing.
It's nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. I wanted to ask you right away, when is this banquet and how can people buy tickets and where's that and that type of thing?
Well, it is coming up really soon, which is hard to believe. We've been a long time planning it. It's September the 9th, which is on a Friday night. And you can go to pregnancyandfamily.org/banquet, or you can call 316-322-0070. Either way will help you out to get your tickets, and they're $50 a piece. We've never charged for our banquet before, but we've never had Dr. Ben Carson speak. Rent the Chef is going to be there. He's kind of famous in the Wichita area, and he's coming with his team, and we're going to have an amazing taco bar, actually, and it sounds like a taco bar, but I experienced it yesterday somewhere he was at, and I was like, okay, this is a whole nother level.
So let's talk about this mission. We've been a part of it for several years.
Right.
You guys do so much for young families in that very, very critical part in their life.
Yeah.
Well, not just young families. I think you were telling me even grandparents that are raising
Yep.
grandchildren, different things. Can you give me a little background and how you got started?
Yeah, so I came into this mission about 11 years ago. We are just pro-abundant life, and that just means a lot more than I thought it meant.
Right.
And so all of our services are free. Women can come in and get a pregnancy test. They can get, and when I say free, it's free to them. But it's because people like this business and others have given, and people and individuals and churches. But they come in, all the services are free. They can have a sonogram. They can see how far along they are. Do we have a heartbeat going? They can hear the heartbeat. It's an amazing thing. But then from then on, we also do parenting classes, which they can take expectant mommy boot camp, baby boot camp, toddler boot camp. I mean, all of the things. Kids don't come with instructions. What do we do with this baby, even if you grew up in a great home? And some people did not grow up in a home that they want to repeat. We are hoping to make an impact on giving them the tools they need to be able to parent successfully. So you get a mentor, an advocate. I believe you've been an advocate too for some young men.
I've helped advocate with young men. In my case, the two guys that I worked with just really didn't know how to be fathers. They hadn't had a father. They just didn't understand even how to lead their family in the right. And it was so rewarding actually to see that growth in them. We're starting to understand. You know, I was interviewing Mark Kenyon here the other day, and we take some things for granted because maybe we had more privileges than others. But to be able to instill some of these things into them, that just work ethic and different things, how much that means to their children growing up.
You know, if you think about it, if I have a flat tire and I know I need my tire to be fixed, but I'm going to need two things: the knowledge how to change the flat tire, and I'm going to need the tools, which I can't really tell you what they are, to change the flat tire. Parenting is kind of like that. You can know something's broken, or you know that you don't want to repeat something that maybe your parents just didn't know either how to do. You need the tools, and you need the knowledge how to use those tools. And so we hope to give that, and the support. People need support. You know, people are so transient anymore. Everybody's living everywhere. Grandma and grandpa don't live just down the street like they used to. So we hope to have that support.
Now that was interesting when you said about even the grandparents coming in.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? I mean, gosh, at 60 years old, that would be tough to have 2 or 3 little ones to have to re-raise. How do you help with stuff like that?
We have a generation that's raising their grandchildren. And so they're maybe mom's having a rough time, or she's getting help for an addiction, or lots of different reasons can happen, even death in a family.
Right.
So we have grandparents raising these children, and they can come in to our center. If you are the major influence in that child's life, you can come in and you can take classes as well. And you can earn baby bucks. And baby bucks is kind of like Monopoly money that we make especially for our clients who we love. They can bring that in and they get it just for coming to class. And anybody can have it. This is not about whether you have money or you don't have money. We just want to support you. And so if you come to classes, you're going to get baby bucks. You can donate them to somebody else if you want to, but you can buy diapers, formula, all of the things it takes to raise a child.
Right, that's what I was amazed about is the stock room you had. Now I want to come back to formula, but we've talked about class. I've heard you say that several times. Can you just tell us what a Cliff Noted version of what class means? I mean, I know what it is because I taught them, but...
Right, so someone will come in, it'll take you about an hour of time. You would come in, you would sit down kind of like we're doing here, except it'd be a female with a female, male with male. And we would talk about how's it going with your kids? What are you going? How did you do last week? And then we might watch a video for 15 minutes about how to handle a certain thing that you're going through. If your child's maybe they're not eating anything at the dinner table, we might watch a video about that. You might be struggling with finances even, and we might watch a video about finances, and then we can talk about it. And we'll usually ask if we can pray with you. They can say yes or no.
Right.
We'll pray for them and encourage them, and then they'll take homework if they want it. It's all about what you want and how we can help you.
Yeah, the one guy that I mentored, I remember they were struggling with behavioral issues with the child.
Yeah.
I do remember going to talking about to one of the ladies and going, hey, how do I deal with this? How to coach him through it. Basically, the classes are just coaching these kids through, or grandparents or parents or whatever, through whatever struggles they have, because you don't have those resources on the street.
Right.
I mean, you can't, or at least trusted resources that can give you good, solid guidance through these struggles with childhood and raising these little babies that mean so much to us. When I was down there here a year or so ago, you had plenty of formula and stuff. How's that going?
Yeah. So there was a formula shortage, and as God works, things were building up. We were getting so much formula, and it's like, why do we have so much formula? Nobody seems to need it. And then there came this shortage, and guess we were getting called even around the country, actually.
Really?
Looking for certain formulas and stuff, and we were able to meet a lot of needs. And so God just kind of built that up, and then it's been depleted now, and it's running okay now. Things got settled.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy how the Lord works. Awesome. It's awesome.
Well, praise God.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your new building. The one thing that I'm excited about is the supper deal where you're teaching people how to budget and cook and stuff. Talk about the new building and what that's going to be.
We are so full at our buildings, and especially our El Dorado site. And so we have this new building, and we do a family dinner time, because if you go and do, statistically it's proven that kids that sit around the dinner table with their mom, with their dad, with both, they have better scores on their testing, less teenage pregnancy, less drug use. Statistically, they're not in jail, they're not put in jail. It's crazy just by sitting. And what does that say? It's about relationship, right? We even had a young mom who didn't even have a dinner table. She didn't know how to meet around the dinner table because she didn't have one. Well, we got her one, got her some chairs, and she even painted it and made it look lovely. So we do these classes, and they're 3 months. We pay for all of it. They end up with over $300 worth of free stuff to use, like an Instapot. Or
really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and the food to make what we taught them to make. So they have everything they need, and then the encouragement, we also teach them the skills, how to make the table a safe place. Don't argue at the table. We don't talk about if Sonny says, I failed the test today, and you want to get on him, the table's not going to be the place. You're going to put a pin in it. Mom and dad, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever's talking together, they don't fight at the dinner table. It's a free zone where kids are going to look forward to coming, and we teach that in these classes.
Well, I like food.
Yeah,
so when I found out you guys were doing that, I was like, oh, I'm on board with that. And I have a funny anecdotal story around the dinner table, because when the girls were growing up, Dawn and I, we ate around the dinner table as much as possible with the 4 girls. There's something about stability. During the course of the day, of course, I know everybody in town, but I found out that Alicia had smarted off to, I think it was the band instructor. They were kidding, okay? Yeah. And of course, she wouldn't have ever known, but I know things. And then we get to the table, and then I brought up, I was like, hey, how did this go with so-and-so being a knucklehead or whatever she called him? And she was like, what? And then the fork stops after her mouth.
Yeah.
How'd you know that? That's just exciting that you can instill that in these young families. So with the new building, what else is going to happen with this new building? Because this is part of the fundraising and why we're here talking about this upcoming banquet, because there is a need and we're getting ready to fill it.
God divinely gave us that building almost 4 years ago. I can't believe we've had this long. So this building will enable us. We have one of the rooms that can seat like 100 people. And so we're going to be able to bring in pastors. We always have a pastor appreciation, and they come from all over the areas. We've always had to rent somewhere. We can have big group classes where we can teach them in that building. Then we're given more rooms because a lot of times we have to say, well, we're filled up on Thursdays. I'm sorry, we can't take you because we don't have any more room.
Right.
It's also going to have a much bigger medical room, because when we do sonograms, well, boyfriend or husband wants to come in, the kids want to come in, grandma and grandpa sometimes want to come in, and we don't have room to do that where we're at right now. In the new building, there'll be space to spread out. It takes, in a year's time, between Great Beginnings and our two centers, we have probably about 70 volunteers. 70 volunteers. We do appreciation things. We always have to rent something, and we would be able to have the space to have those appreciations and all that. It has been said that it leaves the biggest footprint in all of El Dorado is that building right there on that street.
Right.
Wouldn't that be awesome if it was one that was about families and about babies and children? And
it's an exciting mission. It's fun to be involved in. And anytime you can help people who want help and need help, it's just where you should be. Coming up with this new service, you told me you had adoption. Is there adoption service in Butler County besides this new one? Or
I am not truly familiar enough to speak to that, but there is. The thing that makes this maybe a little bit unique is that we are highly sensitive to that birth mom. It is a beautiful option to choose adoption, and we really believe in open adoption. And so we are birth mom friendly, and I don't think there's a lot of centers. I think there's really good ones out there, but I don't think there's a lot that really focus on that birth mom and helping her through the pregnancy, but also after the pregnancy, to move on with her life and also stay connected in some sort of way with the child. So I have watched this particular adoption center for quite a long time. We've worked with them, and the founder, Julian Thomas, decided that she was going to move on to different things, and she wanted to entrust this center, her adoption center, to someone that she really entrusted. She had watched us and how we love people. When you come in, we see you with dignity and respect simply because we think you're made in the image of God. You may not agree with us. You don't have to agree with us. That's how we see you and you're valued. And so she saw that and thought, are you guys ever wanting to do adoptions? We have been wanting to do adoptions for years, but it takes a lot of qualification. She's able to hand us for $1. We're buying that from her.
Really?
And we're able to have that agency now.
And I don't know a lot about it. I know my brother and his wife adopted 2 children. It seemed like it was a difficult process for them, and being able to get connected, and they go to China and stuff because it's easier to adopt from out of the country.
Yeah, it's a beautiful option, and it will be cheaper for all involved just because it's done under a nonprofit. So we're not trying to turn a profit. We're wanting to connect a family that really has on their heart to parent a child. We want to connect them with a young woman who feels like it's just not a good time in her life to be a parent, and she wants to make a great parenting choice, placing her in a family that would be one she'd dream of living in and growing up in. They become friends, and there's a great celebration over this child and watching it grow up in this home, but knowing that birth mom made a beautiful choice to place her at
and then she still has interaction with her own child.
It's all with boundaries. They've also proven that it's really good for that adopted child to know where they came from, to know that they were wanted and loved, and that the best parenting decision was to place that child in that home.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys do so much. You were telling me about a young couple that couldn't afford to get married.
Yeah.
Tell me about that story.
Yeah. So there was a couple that came in, and they were getting ready to have a child in the next couple months. And they mentioned that they had been wanting to get married. We are all about marriage. We're all about supporting marriage. Asked them, I particularly happened to meet with them that day, and I said, what keeps you from marrying one another? And they said, financially, we just can't afford even a clergyman or someone to marry us. Oof. And we were like, well, what if we could find you some help in that? Is that something you want to do? We would love to get married, they said. And so the community, people care. And a local pastor said, I will give my services for free. People threw in some stuff, and the next thing you know, they were having a beautiful wedding out at the lake, and they were able to get married.
Well, I'm really proud of you guys. You do a great job. I'm glad to be able to help you any way I can. It's just one of Dawn and I's passions. It's your mission, and it's a big deal. So I'm probably gonna have to wrap this video up, folks. I could talk to Kimberly all day. I know a lot of the success stories and are just so fun to hear. If you're looking for something you want to get involved in that makes a difference in people's life, I'm sure she's got 70 volunteers. She'll take more. It's just a very rewarding mission to get involved in. However, we want to make sure that you do not forget on September 9th is a great big banquet fundraiser with the keynote speaker being Ben Carson. We're going to have a gourmet taco bar. It's going to be next level taco bar.
That's right.
So be sure and tell folks, once again, the website, phone number, how they can get tickets. They need to hurry so they don't sell out.
Yeah, $50 a ticket. You can go to pregnancyandfamily.org/banquet, or you can call 316-322-0070, and we'll help you get those tickets. You do not want to miss it. We have about 300 seats left, and I have a feeling they're going to go very quickly in the next weeks. So get on your phones and let's make this happen. Let's fill that place, and it's going to be one you don't want to miss.
Thank you very much.
My honor.
Maybe you can come back in again. I know we got all kinds of things
Yeah.
to talk about. We're going to let everybody go with that. As always, we want you to have a blessed day.